As we step inside his chambers, I can hear the door click and lock behind me. Okay, we can't escape now! Hey Internet, it's Jessica and welcome back to Chess Ablaze, and we are going to continue off with Linnaeus' route, and we just came back from court, and I think we have this in the bag. Like, we got everything right, and the Chamberlain and the Advisor is going to set Linnaeus free and capture Raphael. So let's continue where we left off. I follow Linnaeus back out into the hall, along with everyone else who isn't the Chamberlain or one of the advisors. He takes a step in the direction of the cells, but then stops, turning back towards me. Linnaeus? Unsure of what to say to him, or if I should say anything at all, I gazed at him intently, with my brow knitting in concern. Soon, however, his lips curl into what undeniably the most earnest smile I've ever seen him wear before, and he bows before me, so deeply that I fear his glasses might fall off.
I was never very close with Lord Varrison, but I have a rather instinctive feeling that he would be quite proud of you right now.
Aw, thanks, Linnaeus. That's very sweet of you to say. He rises from his bow with a certain gentleness with his pale blue gaze, and for a moment I think I glimpse a white glimmer in the corner of his eye. Can't seem to find the words to express myself. After all of that off-the-cuff talking, how is it hard to muster a single syllable all of a sudden? But I get the sense that Linnaeus understands exactly what's going on through my mind, because he offers a small nod. His warm smile turns into a little wistful as our eyes meet.
Well, it's about time for me to take my leave, I think.
With that, Linnaeus nods to the guards escorting him, and they turn to walk side by side towards the cells. As I watch his elegant figure depart, a strange, unfamiliar feeling wells up in my throat. Whether it's a relief of sadness or joy, I can't really tell. I think that just maybe it's a mix of all three. I close my eyes for a long moment before taking a long, deep inhale. If that's the last time I ever see him.
Sir, may I have a word with
Oh,
you?
hello, Silas! When I open my eyes and turn around, Silas is standing before me, looking far more downtrodden than usual. Silas, what was happening back there? The butler winces slightly at my words.
I was forced to say certain untruths under duress, sir. There is someone dear to me who Sir Raphael and his companion were threatening to take action against if I did not comply.
Yeah, I know, Silas, you're not a bad guy. If you could tell us, what's going on, maybe we could help him. Someone dear to you? Had they kidnapped your family or something? Or, no, perhaps a lover? At my confused reply, Silas breaks out into a gentle chuckle. He finally seems back to his normal self, at least, which I'm grateful for.
No, nothing like that, sir. It is someone you also know, in fact, and I believe you would wish for their safety as well.
It's Hazel, right? Someone I know also. I doubt he's talking about Linnaeus. Maybe my brain is broken and I'm all worn out from all the stress, but I can't figure out who this someone is.
After your admirable performance, however, I wanted to not only express my gratitude, but also to apologize. I asked for you to be excluded last night so that I could divulge the reason why I placed the Duchess's gems in your room. But I now believe I should inform you as well.
So it was Silas who put those damn jewels under my cover. Obviously, come on, Rivian, you already know that he was acting weird every time we came up to him and talked to him during the party. He was just so weird around us.
After speaking with you several times, I had a sense that you were a truly honest and gentle man. And so, rather than planting the necklace in the Inquisitor's room to be discovered by Sir Raphael, I chose your room instead.
Oh.
With the hope that you would involve yourself on the Inquisitor's behalf and help him against further attacks.
I mean, I get it, but it's just kind of random. It's just you seem like a nice guy. I'm gonna put it in your room. Hopefully you don't get in trouble. Although he looks a little guilty, the sly smile that rises on Silas's face makes it clear that he's rather pleased with himself. Well, that was a bit brash of you, don't you think? I could have kept the gems for myself, or throw them out the window like I was originally planning.
I have seen many different personalities during my time as one of the king's servants, sir. I was quite confident that you would return them to the man you trusted most at that time.
Between Linnaeus and Silas, I'm starting to think everyone can read me like an open book. Perhaps I should start working on acting a little more stoic.
Regardless, I apologize for involving you so recklessly, sir. However, if you had not been part of this affair, I doubt the Inquisitor would have much of a chance to walk free.
Yeah, I think so too. He bows before me and I purse my lips together. What's with all this sudden bowing from everyone? It's really making me uncomfortable. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Why is everyone bowing? I'll let it slide this time, but good gods, man. Give me a warning next time. Seeing that necklace nearly made my heart give out. Silas tries to hold back a smile, but it quite evidently curls on his lips, and he nods his head.
Understood, sir. Now, if I may offer a suggestion as for a way to spend the rest of your time until the Inquisitor's judgment, Hazel reminded me this morning of your promise to her.
Oh, that's right! My promise? Oh, that's right. I said I'd take her out to the festival, didn't I? I suppose I'd best get on that then. Better than standing here brooding over for the next few hours. Thanks, Silas. I offer the butler a weak grin, to which he offers me a wink so brief that I almost miss it. He winked at me. Oh, okay. I end up heading back to the main hall. My thoughts are still preoccupied with Linnaeus. However, when Hazel spots me and runs up, I put on a happy face for her. And maybe it's not entirely an act. I'm reminded a little of my first night here, and when I took her to the ballroom. Somehow that seems so long ago. While we're out at the festival, I buy her a number of sweets and some little trinkets here and there that catch her eye. The way she lights up every time a new thing is around her reminds me so much of my sister. It makes me a bit homesick. We pass by the mask vendor at one point and I stare at it wistfully as I walk with Hazel.
So, Rivian, is something wrong?
Nothing, I just miss my boyfriend! Nothing, Hazel. Just thinking a little bit about the masquerade tonight.
Oh, the masquerade! I can't wait to see how everyone looks. I know it'll be amazing. Are you going, Sir Rivian?
I mean, I was planning to. I end up offering an evasive reply, trying to avoid weighing down the mood. It's not really like I care about the dance itself, but I don't think I could bear attending it alone. On our way back to the castle, Hazel and I stop by the fighting ring to watch one of the brawls.
Oh, it's so giant!
She stares with wide eyes at the two huge, heavily muscled men taking swings at each other in the pit. When the brawl comes to an end and one of the fighters raises his fist in victory, Hazel breaks into an eager applaud, along with the rest of the gathered crowd, and I join in with a smile. Oh god. As the crowd disperses and the victor walks past us, he knows Hazel and lets out a booming laugh.
I see me fans are growing younger and younger, eh?
So tall! You're like a mountain!
Chuckling to himself, the towering man briefly picks up Hazel, lifting her onto his shoulders for a moment.
Up you go!
Oh, okay. Can you see your house from up there, Hazel? I can't help but laugh at Hazel's gaze around for the high perch of the... with a squeak of surprise before she too starts giggle. It's funny, but seeing her blissful innocence made me feel a little warmer inside. All this corruption and backstabbing, not to mention the two cousins in each other's throats. It makes me almost lose hope for that our kingdom has any truly honest good men left. At least there's still room for happiness outside of the endless court games. But one day, even Hazel might end up dragging into the affair like this, just as Silas was. Perhaps she can enjoy life like this for a little longer, just a little bit longer. By the time we return to the castle, evening is setting in. I leave Hazel and return to my room, unsure when or how I'll be able to hear about Linnaeus' verdict. I end up pacing around the room for a while and try to preoccupy myself with packing up my clothes up for the preparation of the departure tomorrow. As night sets in, however, I can't keep my thoughts from being distracted. I pick up the mask I put on my bed last night, holding it in my hands and gazing at it longingly. Really, I thought the day would never come when I wish I would be at a dance. Life is just full of surprises, though, isn't it? Some of them less pleasant than others. As I close my eyes and set the mask down gently back onto the bed... Uh-oh. A knock comes at my door. I hold my breath for a moment, pausing, desperately trying to keep my hopes under control. When the knock comes again, I approach the door slowly, sliding my fingers around the handle. Hey! It's Linnaeus! There before me is the Grand Inquisitor.
Well, that was quite the bothersome morning. Those insufferably rude allegations completely ruined my plans to have a nice pot of tea and pour over some old books, you know.
After he lets out a dramatic sigh, Linnaeus shakes his head a little. You bastard! I throw myself at Linnaeus, pulling him into a hug so tight that he lets out a soft grunt. Oh my god!
Are you trying to break my bones, Varrison? I thought I told you there were consequences for trying to assault me.
Even as he playfully scolds me, his arms curl equally tightly around my waist, and he lifts me up a little off of the ground to squeeze my body against him. Damn, he must be strong! I can't believe they already let you go. I thought they'd be deliberating for ages. Linnaeus nuzzles my cheek, and I feel his long fingers stroke through my hair.
I heard there were only a few potentially incriminating things in Raphael's room, but that phony guard was less thorough about cleaning up after himself.
So clumsy with the evidence.
They haven't officially charged him while they continue the investigation, but they let me go in the meantime. And I can assure you, I was fretting terribly about the possibility of missing our date.
Aww! I cling on tightly to his taller form, burying my face against his fluffy black ponytail. So was I. The weight of Linnaeus' judgment lifts from me all at once, and I quietly thank whatever gods are out there for helping me find the right words back at the meeting chamber. I was so unsure I'd be unable to stand up against someone as practiced as Raphael, but in the end, I think he grew careless, or perhaps his bitter feelings against Linnaeus drove him to act rashly.
I suppose we'll never get a chance to reconcile after all.
We finally part from my embrace, and Linnaeus exhales a slight, distant sigh.
When I was given the position of High Inquisitor, Raphael, who's older, was livid. He's never risen beyond Justicia, and he always believed I got the more prestigious job because of my connection to the king.
So he's just jealous, and then he's like the older brother, even though they're cousins, like they're brothers, right? But he's like the older one, so he's just like, I should get the one, the higher position and whatever, and he feels, I think like Raphael was working like longer than Linnaeus was for their jobs and whatever, so I think he's just jealous that he didn't get promoted to that thing or whatever as Inquisitor.
I never thought he'd go so far as to bring me down just to get the offers he wanted. And I even hoped that someday we might be able to work together harmoniously.
A nostalgic look briefly softens his sharp features before he rubs a finger along my chin and lets out a small laugh.
I should have known we'd never be able to cooperate. That lurid hat is simply too insufferable.
I agree. Perhaps a distraction tactic to keep people from noticing his lies? Linnaeus smirks dryly. Reaching up to pull off his glasses for a moment, he exhales a warm breath on the lens before polishing them with his sleeve, and then replaces them on his face.
Well, I would be remiss not to thank you for your rather incredible performance today.
Oh, thank you.
I thought your accusatory shouting face suited you quite nicely.
Receiving praise really means very much to me, but it'd be a lie to say that I don't feel happy hearing it from Linnaeus. I imagine it's because I respect him quite a bit, and I know he's not the sort to give empty words of flattery where there's not due. All the pieces were already there. I just needed to draw them together so that the squabbling old fogies could see the big picture through their princess.
Welcome to my world. Perhaps now you understand why my patience has worn thinner than a starving maiden desperate to look good in her new corset.
That's very elaborate, but okay. He pauses then, clearing his throat with a slight shift of his weight from one leg to the other. Am I misreading things, or does he look like he's slightly nervous?
In all honesty, I intend to fully express my gratitude to you for all you've done. But, if I'm not mistaken, we have a dance to attend, and I didn't spend all that idle time in my cell practicing the waltz for nothing.
Oh, he was practicing! Oh, you're quite correct. We should make haste before fashionably late turns into just plain late. I grab my mask from my bed and slip it on, and Linnaeus reaches into his cloak to pull it out his own. Then he offers an arm to me, and I unhesitatingly take it. As we step out into the hall and walk towards the ballroom, I'm admittedly a little proud to have the infamously icy Inquisitor at my side. Not like I'm a lion tamer or anything, although I do feel like a bit one. We step out into the floor and the sea of masks, both beautiful and macabre, greets us. They seem to fit together perfectly with the swell of the music and the bright lights of the room. The anxiety I thought I would feel is overcome by a warm excitement as Linnaeus turns to me, taking my hand and clasping my waist, just like the other night.
So, I suppose I'll have to start writing that apology letter to your father tonight.
Why?
Dear Lord Varrison, your ravishing son was so rude as to steal my well-protected heart from me during the celebration. And as a result, I've now taken him for my own.
Butterflies blossom in my stomach as we start to swirl together among the many colorful masked dancers, which I barely notice with my eyes locked in separately with Linnaeus. I think he'll understand. If he doesn't, well, you'll just have to kidnap me, won't you? Maybe I'll accidentally forget to lock my door tonight.
How devious. After such an admirable display of justice, you're already back to plotting. That simply won't do.
They're flirting. Linnaeus leans down and lets his words brush softly against my ear, and I shiver in anticipation. His hand on my waist slides around and presses my lower back, and nudges me closer to him, throwing my step off balance.
Come now. Are you always so clumsy? We must train your two left feet a little better, clearly.
I'm starting to think I should have left you rotting in that jail cell. The next few hours are filled with traded jabs between us, as well as a few shared sniper remarks at some of the other guests' gaudy masks. It lifts my heart to see a warmer side of Linnaeus surfacing once more, in the same way it did back at the festival. Of course, he's still a bit stiffer and more put out of place than your average nobleman would be at a masquerade, but I'm not really one to talk. During one of our dances, Linnaeus casts a few casual glances in the direction of a particularly pompous-looking pair nearby. A few minutes later, he starts to gently steer me over towards them, taking a subtle step to make it less apparent we're heading deliberately in that direction. When I give him a quizzical look, however, Linnaeus shakes his head a little at me and leans to brush his lips against my ear.
Just listen.
Okay. I wrinkle my nose a little at the strange command, but decide to go along with his request and strain over here the pair through the flowing music.
Speaking of the autumn ball, have you heard about Lady Croquis's intention to host it?
Oh, yes, I have! Isn't that such a darling thing for her to do? It'll be so stressful for her, don't you think?
The two chuckle at each other, but they shared oddly pointed looks.
It certainly would be. After the sudden passing of her late husband, she has to manage that huge estate all by herself.
Yes, the poor thing. Her husband's death was so unexpected. One moment she was a shining epitome of help, and the next was cast to death's door by a sudden illness. I feel so sorry for Lady Cookies.
I quirk my head as I continue to listen to their traded words, glancing at Linnaeus to judge his own reaction. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to be hearing. It sounds like a pair of noble gossip about the death of a lady's what's-its-husband. Standard fare, isn't it? However, Linnaeus lifts his hand from my waist for a moment to knowingly wiggle it in front of my eyes.
The Autumn Ball is a highly prestigious event, one that even the king himself attends. The one with the honor of hosting it often receives a great deal of notability, and even the favor of our monarch. It was originally speculated that these two were going to be the hosts, but the king decided to allow Croquis to have the honor instead. You can imagine the embarrassment for them after that announcement.
Okay, why are we talking about this so? As he whispers slyly to me, I start to catch on what I think Linnaeus is implying. The humiliation of not being chosen as a ball's host, combined with the remarks about the sudden death of Croquis' husband.
Well, we should offer her our congratulations for receiving such a wonderful opportunity. Perhaps we could even provide some aid to her, since the preparations for so many guests must be awfully intense.
What does that mean? You're gonna kill her?
What a splendid idea! I'd love to see her again. We must extend our sympathies about her unfortunate husband, too. Such a dreadful occurrence.
Is it possible they're planning on blackmailing Croquis? As innocent as their exchange sounds, if what Linnaeus says is true, then the couple is probably bearing a lot of ill will towards the widow. Do they know how her husband died, or are they planning on making something up? Linnaeus chuckles softly, his eyes gleaming with something almost like gleefulness. This must be a regular part of the job, and it's clear that he enjoys every second of it.
Oh, Croquis is no innocent lamb. She certainly murdered her husband in order to gain full control over the estate.
Oh, okay.
The noble lord and lady over there are probably planning to fabricate evidence that will scare her into doing their bidding. And in this case, it will mean handing over her role as host to them.
Is everyone at court just as an awful person? It certainly seems like it. My look of disdain just makes the Inquisitor smirk craftily into himself.
Some are far worse than others, but everyone has their secrets. This is the web of intrigue we dance in, my dear boy. You must learn to recognize who's pulling what strings.
Although the idea of being involved in such affairs makes my stomach churn nervously, the way Linnaeus describes it is almost exciting. The way that he can recognize what people are plotting just from a casual exchange means that he's been expert deciding on all the plots going on behind the scenes of court. Is that why he can figure out what's going on in my head?
Don't worry. Stay by my side and I'll teach you all of the dark little workings that go on behind the scenes, provided you adequately compensate me for my tutelage.
Compensate you with what, Linnaeus? My sour glare is rewarded by another squeeze of my hip, and Linnaeus bites his lip to keep from letting out another stifled laugh. After a little exchange, time flies by so quickly that it's almost a shock when the music stops, and the masquerade comes to a marvelous end. Linnaeus ends up taking me back to his room. Both of us are relatively bubbly and loose smooth thanks to the wine we've embedded. Well, it's not like Linnaeus gets exactly bubbly, but he's undoubtedly more playful and aggressive than usual. As we step inside his chambers, I can hear the door click and lock behind me. Okay, we can't escape now! And then, a moment later, I feel Linnaeus' long fingers curl around my waist, pulling them behind my back.
I did say that there were consequences for assaulting the Inquisitor, didn't I? You'd best be prepared to face them.
I think smut's coming! A warm, devious voice purrs against the nape of my neck, sending a sweet shiver down my spine. I don't think this is really fair. I protest insincerely, letting Linnaeus pull over me in the direction of the bed. A moment later, I hear the sound of a drawer nearby opening. Oh god, what is he doing? Although he keeps me pressed against the bed in such a way that prevents me from seeing what he's doing. Soon, something rough curls around my arm, pulling them together, and I can feel Linnaeus... Oh my god! Oh, I was right! Oh, sorry! Oh god, okay, I was right. This man isn't... Oh, dear god. I mean, it should be obvious because of his character, but Jesus Christ! I can feel Linnaeus tying a secure knot.
It's fine for you to admit that you've been having interrogation fantasies since you first met me, you know.
Oh my god! Smirking, Linnaeus pulls a... I'm sorry, this is just, I just did, okay, you know what, I'm gonna continue. Linnaeus pulls my coat off with a swift movement before hoisting me onto his bed and pressing me onto my back, sorry. The sight of his beautiful face right above me, along with the look of desire lighting up in my eyes, makes me quickly grow flushed. His long, slender fingers reach to start to undo the buttons of my shirt, with remarkable deftness, and my flush is soon exposed to the cool air. Oh, here we go. He rips off his gloves too, which could only be a very good, or very bad sign. Oh no! Alright, once again, I'm unable to show everything of the scene, so some of it's gonna be blurred out. A sound escapes me before I can even think about holding it back, and Linnaeus' hands wander towards the pink buds on my chest and start toying with them. Oh, okay, cool.
Ah, you're quite sensitive, aren't you? I'll have to abuse that fact to my advantage.
Jesus Christ! Oh! Alright, good job, Linnaeus!
Patience is a virtue, Rivian. One that you will have to become intimately acquainted with while I have my...
Oh my god! What's that supposed to mean? I don't do very well with teasing. Yeah, I really can't show that. I really cannot show that. Yup. Alright. What's that? Something else to torture me with?
Come now, don't try to make me out as a villain. I I think you're enjoying yourself far too much to call this torture.
He really is!
And no running away either. Not now or ever.
I'm okay. Yeah, I can't show any of that. Yeah, I can't show any of that. I mean, yeah, I can't show that, but let's just say everything's fine. Like, Rivian and Linnaeus is very intense, let me just say that. Out of all the three guys that we've seen so far, Linnaeus is the most intense one. This happy sense of safety, where it seems like nothing could possibly separate me from Linnaeus, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Oi, do you want any sugar in here like a normal person, or should I leave it plain for your bizarre tastes?
Did you really just call me bizarre? I'm not the one who eats dessert before dinner half the time. You're a dishonor to the Varrison name. Truly.
Heaving a light-hearted sigh, I place a teacup down on the table, shaking my head a little. The cool spring breeze brushes by us, ruffling the locks of Linnaeus' long, messily pulled back hair. He's wearing in a more casual ponytail today. Ooh, really? Which he only ever does when we're at home together.
I can't believe the king trusts this man. Some of his proposals for new laws are simply ridiculous.
Linnaeus muttering to himself as he pores over the announcements of various changes happening in court. With a little pout drifting over my lips, I curl my arm around his shoulder and squeezing them, gazing down at him fondly. Aww, they're so cute! Look at oh, Linnaeus! I thought you said you'd be having a break this morning. You should spend a little time doing something other than fretting over court affairs, like paying attention to me.
Well, it's hard to argue with that logic. This tea is spectacular. You didn't slip any strange herbs into here or something, did you?
The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but now that you mention it, I might try that next time so we can get revenge on you for last night. As Linnaeus smugly chuckles at my sour remark, he leans against me, tossing aside the parchment he's holding. It's hard to believe that we've already been together for 2 years. Hey! Where has all the time gone? Ever since we were brought together that fateful celebration, my life was completely upturned, and I wouldn't be able to believe where I am now if you asked me 2 years ago. Linnaeus and I lived together in a small cozy house close to the capital, but far enough just to have some privacy in one of the kingdom's many lush forests. It's just us. No servants, no relatives. Well, there is our cat Sasha too. Oh, they got a cat! I remembered how much Linnaeus said that he loved his old cat, so I convinced him to take a kitten and we found in the streets. Linnaeus still works as Grand Inquisitor, but he's also training me in our kingdom's laws so that I can become a proper assistant. Right now, I do a lot of bookkeeping and other relatively easy duties to help him out, but after I begged him to teach me his trade so that I could be more useful, he reluctantly agreed. Surprisingly, once Father learned who I'd gone off with, after a decent amount of scolding for not telling him sooner, he gave his blessing to Linnaeus and me. I think it's a little sad that I decided not to follow in his footsteps as a military strategist, but when I informed him later that I wanted to study legal matters like Linnaeus, he seemed rather pleased. That's good! I'm glad the dad was supportive, because the way that, Rivian was describing him throughout all the roofs, it's just, his dad was kind of, I don't want to say, a bad person, but kind of, a harsh kind of guy. So I can imagine that he expected Rivian to become like him, but it's nice that he's just it's cool that you don't have to be. That's really nice. As for Raphael, after the investigation was complete, it was clear that he had been conspiring with the disciples. He was condemned to execution for his crimes, but Linnaeus stepped in, to everyone's shock. He managed to throw his weight around enough to keep Raphael from the ultimate penalty, and instead his cousin is locked away in a nice cozy prison. Interesting! I mean, I guess it would make sense because he did say he wished he could, reconcile with his cousin, but that's, he still loves him, that's his family, so I understand why he didn't let them kill him. Linnaeus visits him regularly, however, and they're actually managed to rekindle their old friendship by bit. It seems to take Raphael a while to come around, but I hear that he'll eventually broke down and sobbed on Linnaeus' shoulder for an hour straight. Even though repairable damage has been done, knowing that such horrible act of betrayal can be ultimately overcome touched me in a way I didn't expect. It also taught me that Linnaeus has a remarkably warm heart, deep inside his unforgiving exterior. Oh, that's their cat! Sasha, don't play with that! You'll shred the scrolls with your claws!
Leave her be. That scroll's better used as a cat toy than reading material anyway.
Replaying with me with a smirk, Linnaeus watches Sasha batten the rolled up parchment, his head tilting fondly to one side. Then he glances up at me and his eyes sparkle behind the lenses in a way that makes my heart skip a beat, just like it always does.
Now, what shall we do today? I was thinking a nice walk, a bit of cooking, and then poring over some books together.
You're such an old man! That sounds rather
And, of course, I recently acquired some new instruments that I've been dying to try out on you, my love.
What kind of instruments, Linnaeus? I want to push him off his chair, but the bright laugh that comes from his lips is too happy for me to really get mad. Aw, they're so cute! I can't stand it. I love them. Yes, you better be careful of your tea from now on. You'll get your companions eventually, you know.
Perhaps. But until then, I think I'll just enjoy myself tormenting you. Whatever price comes at the end of it all, well, I'm sure I won't regret a single moment.
With that, he squeezes my arm and presses back against me, not so unlike an affectionate cat himself. His comforting, slightly sweet scent mingles with the earthy smell of the forest, filling my senses as I nuzzle against him. It may not be a perfect road ahead of us, but I'm sure there'll be many bumps as we clash heads out and have our differences. But I think I could safely say that after we've come this far together, there's next to nothing that can tear us apart. Say, perhaps, Linnaeus' preference for plain tea. What a madman. Though, after coming to love all of his quirks and habits, his ups and downs, and his heart inside out, I know for a fact that I wouldn't have him any other way. Aww, that's so sweet! Hey! Okay, so that's the good ending for Linnaeus' route, and I'm going to ruin this by seeing the bad ending. So let me just go back and watch the terrible ending for this route. Okay, so this is like the after the court and whatever. The guilt of that day still haunts me. I always wonder what could have happened if I said the right things at the right time. If I could have really found a way to help prove him innocent. Raphael has since taken over Linnaeus' position, and though he is well respected from the former Inquisitor, the amount of false accusation has increased so dramatically that many lives fear association with the disciples. He hasn't accused me of anything, surprisingly, but I don't attempt to involve myself in court affairs any longer. I can't bear the thought of it. I know the truth behind what happened, or at least what I believe to be the truth, but I'm powerless to do anything about it. If I were to try to bring up the case again, I'd surely be attacked for conspiring with Linnaeus, and condemned for the same fate. I can only reflect on my loss and hope that I'll never repeat the same mistakes I did back then. And more than anything, I pray that Linnaeus forgives me. I don't think I could bear to see his sadness and his proud features again, and the steely determination of his gaze turned into something hopeless and barren. If only I had one more chance. One more chance. Linnaeus. Okay, so it was bad, yeah, because Linnaeus, gets put in jail, but I really thought they were gonna kill him. I thought they were gonna execute him as the penalty, but it's interesting that they didn't come to that. But it sucks that, that happens, and then Rivian can't forgive himself and all that stuff. But let's pretend that we didn't see the bad ending, and just focus on the good stuff. So, my thoughts for Linnaeus' route. I thought it was very interesting. The only thing I found different between, Arden and, Franz's route was that the relationship that Rivian fell for the character was a lot faster with Linnaeus than with, Arden or with, Franz. I found it was a little bit more, he fell in love with the guy very quickly, and then at the same time, Rivian's like, why am I like this the entire time? So I think it's good that he was questioning his feelings, but I thought it was very interesting, and kinda, I don't want to say it was bad, but it was just he just fell in love with him too quickly. I don't know, that's just me though. But, I did enjoy Linnaeus' route. It was very interesting to have Raphael finally come into play with all this, because we just saw him in Arden's route as just this annoying guy, but it's interesting that what his role is in this, and it kind of sucks that Silas never said, like, who he was being blackmailed with, but I'm pretty sure it's with Hazel, because that's the only person I can think of, who is very dear to him, and very dear to Rivian as well. So, I'm just assuming it's her. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Oh, we learned a lot about Linnaeus. He's a cat guy. He's into ropes, let's just say that. And the voice acting was great for Linnaeus. I really liked his voice actor. So this kind of leaves me with a final route, which is the secret route, and I'm gonna get into in the next time I play this game. So be on the lookout for that, and we will see how that one turns out. I don't want to spoil anything in case anyone doesn't know who the secret route is, but I imagine it will be very interesting just because of whose route it intermingles with. Anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys thought about Linnaeus' route, what you guys thought about the writing for his route overall. Also, thank you once again to AGirlAndAGame for sending me a game key to play this. And if you guys enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to join the companions. And if you would like to help support the channel on Patreon, the link is in the description. You can also support the channel for free with gawkbox.com/AGirlAndAGame. All you have to do is make an account, open up on your mobile phone, download the games on my page, play them, and then you donate real money to the channel, which will help me continue this series and continue the channel overall. So yeah, I'm excited to start the secret route. Hopefully it won't be bad, because like it's really weird where it comes in, intermingling with another route. So I'm really interested to see how it's going to turn out. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! Mystery or magic? After finishing the first episode of The Council, something has got me thinking. Is there something supernatural at play here? I know what He found his tongue wandering inside her mouth, exploring slowly as she I'm sorry, let me do that again. He found his tongue wandering in her mouth,